Since man's ventured into the wilderness in search of game, his weapons have played a crucial role. In modern history, the rifle is its own character in the great hunting stories now written. From Hemingway's Griffin and Howe to Corbett's Rigby, these handcrafted arms married functionality to beauty. They relied on these arms time and time again, and they needed to perform admirably. Today, I have a small select grouping of elite bespoke sporting rifles that will grace our December premiere auction, just waiting for their next adventure. First off, I have a Springfield 1903 built up and customized by none other than R.G. Owen. R.G. Owen came to gunsmithing naturally. His dad was a stockmaker for Greener in Birmingham, England, and Bob Owen became one of, if not the greatest 1903 maker. In fact, serial number 2 of his custom 1903s went to none other than Kermit Roosevelt, the son and hunting partner of President Teddy Roosevelt. So you know that the pedigree of this rifle is top-notch. But don't take my word for it. None other than Lieutenant Colonel E.C. Crossman, the man noted with one hammer to start the 1903 craze in 1910, had this to say about R.G. Owen in the April 1927 edition of Field and Stream. I have viewed, pawed over, shot, and otherwise maltreated a great 100 of these rifles in the 16 years of intervening. The range of fine products from One Hammer, Ross King, Hoffman, Griffin and Howe, and various German and British stockers, down to the homegrown product of the brother under the delusion that anybody could stock and check these once reading a book telling them how. Some of these rifles by professional stockers were very nice guns, but they left me unmoved, particularly in the late years. The other day, however, my friend R.G. Owen sent me a finished Springfield Sporter he had made for an Eastern chap who could afford to pay for the best. So far as rifles are concerned, he will get it in this gun. I believe it is the finest example of a Springfield I have ever seen, and without a doubt, the finest in this country. If that quote doesn't seal the deal from the man who brought the Springfield Sporter to fruition, I don't know what does. But Michael Petroff, in his book Custom Gun Makers of the 20th Century, also agrees he has handled multiple 1903s, but R.G. Owen is the finest. This 1903, however, is just not any Owen 1903. It is the hunting rifle of the grand old man himself, Mr. Elmer Keith. Now, of course, you know Elmer Keith from his handgun exploits, the founding of the 357, 44 Magnum, and 41 Magnum, his many books, and of course his articles for many years. But Elmer Keith, when it came to a serious hunt, was never without a great rifle, and this truly is a great rifle. Stocked beautifully in American walnut, with the schnabeled forend and hand checkered, it flows together well. The blued barrel has a ramped front sight, a Lyman rear with an Arnosky scope mount, and a Hensoldt Wetzlar scope. What a great package, whether you're hunting whitetail, elk, moose, this gun has it all. But that's not it. On the underside, you can see Elmer Merfield Keith's monogram. What a terrific piece of history. The rifle of an American legend, Elmer Keith, made by maybe the greatest 1903 maker to ever live. That's a heck of a package. When military man turned outdoorsman, turned outdoor writer, Townsend Whalen himself introduced Seymour Griffin to James Howe, it was written in the stars that one of the greatest American gun firms would come to fruition, and that firm is Griffin and Howe. We have a lot of Griffin and Howes in this auction, but there are two very special Griffin and Howes on the table. Starting off, this 1903 is maybe the most beautiful 1903 I've ever seen. Just look at it. Built between 1927 and 1930, it is stocked in beautiful walnut. That light color wood is almost buttery, and the satin finish on it is just flawless. The marbling, the hand-cut checkering, and when you have a sporting rifle, like this one, it's the gun that you always pick up when you go out. This gun has a Lyman rear sight, a hooded ramped front sight, and of course has what everybody wants in a Griffin Howe, the great Griffin Howe side mount for this period scope. It's a great package and something that I want in my personal collection. But that's just the start of it. It is engraved from tip to tail in fine relief by none other than Joseph Fugger. Now, Fugger was the in-house engraver for Griffin & Howe from 1927 to the late 60s, early 70s, when his protege, Winston Churchill, took over. Now, Fugger learned how to engrave from none other than Rudolf Kornbrath, one of the greatest engravers to have ever picked up a chisel. And Fugger's work is almost indistinguishable from Kornbrath's. And look at this gun. From the scope rings to the scope mount to the bolt handle to the rear sight, all the way down the barrel. We know the rifle is important because of the 3 animal figures in deep gold relief. From the mountain lion on the base plate to the trigger guard having a squirrel to the pronghorn antelope on the pistol grip. This is exquisite work. It doesn't get much better than this when it comes to a Griffin & Howe, let alone a sporting rifle in general. This is a rifle for the ages, and it's only available in our December premiere auction. You have to come check it out for yourself. The Savage 99 was a very popular rifle for big game hunters. It is elegant, and it came in a bunch of cartridges, whether you're hunting squirrel or moose. And this Griffin & Howe Savage 99 is an amazing piece, also engraved by Master Joseph Fugger. However, this one is signed. This Savage 99 is equipped with a Redfield rear sight, a jeweled bolt, and is in the formidable caliber of .300 Savage. It has a beautiful stock, heavy fletching in the butt, beautiful multi-line checkering, jeweled bolt, and a ramped front sight. Now that's not all. Look at the engraving on this. This is deep relief engraving again, something that Fugger's known for. A white-tailed deer on this side, and a caribou on this side. The engraving almost drips off this gun, and if you roll it in the light, it's almost as if the animals are moving. A masterclass in engraving on this arm alone. In my time at Rock Island, we've sold one other engraved Griffin & Howe 99, but this one is my favorite. And this rifle is ready for its next adventure in your collection. Now for the double rifles. W.J. Jeffrey is one of the premier makers in England, and has built beautiful guns for kings and aristocrats. But they also built working man's guns. Who is that working man? It is the people that ran the British colonies in India and Africa that needed a heavy hitting rifle to protect their workers and villagers. People like Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, the man who wrote the book The Man-Eaters of Tsavo, and later was made into a film, Ghost in the Darkness. Now, he famously used a Lee Speed. However, he was the type of person that would purchase a rifle like this. This W.J. Jeffrey is in 475 Express and was built between 1910 and 1913. You can tell it's not as ornate as these other guns on the table, but its fit and function is equal to them. It has a beautiful straight grain walnut stock with multi-line checkering that just flows through the pistol grip. It's really well done. The receiver is in white and has a buffalo engraved on either side. It has a hooded ramped front sight and has regulated leaf sights from 100 to 500 yards. W.J. Jeffrey has been long known for their cartridges and their quality in the big bore realm, and this rifle is a formidable foe for any game that it would meet. And to think what this rifle did, to think of the men who used it in the time period that they used it in, fighting off tigers and lions. It's a pretty amazing piece, and it's beautiful in its own right. This rifle is also cased and comes with 15 rounds of .475 Express. And now for two premium double rifles of absolute excellence. The first is a Holland & Holland Royal double rifle made between 1950 and 1953 in the formidable cartridge of .577 Nitro Express. So whether taking Cape Buffalo or Elephant, this will bring anything in the world down. And it's so expertly done. The Holland & Holland Royal has become what the benchmark of all double rifles are. The best of everything, the best wood, the best features, the best regulation, and this gun is a perfect example of that. A beautiful satin, heavily marbled walnut stock, color casing on the locks, blued barrels, a hooded ramped front sight, a 50-yard standing leaf sight, and of course has this beautiful scope mounts attached to the checkered quarter rib on the barrel. It has a Hensoldt and Wetzler scope. This is the ultimate big game package. Of course, it has some beautiful scroll engraving just slightly throughout. This gun is one of the standards in which all other guns are built off of. It comes equipped with a leather case, canvas cover, and filled with accessories. And is available for you to take on your next hunt. And last but not least, the showstopper. This Wesley Richards hand-detachable drop lock in .500 Nitro Express. This gun is virtually brand new. In fact, it is brand new. It shipped directly from Wesley Richards to Rock Island Auction Company and was only assembled its first time right here for this video. What an opportunity. Look at this gun. It is expertly engraved by master engraver Anya Damenheim. It's completely covered. The full rib, the side locks, the fences are deep relief engraved, and it's expertly color cased. What an amazing gun. Not only is it beautiful, it is absolutely a functioning work of art. The scroll engraving is so beautiful. It's tight and it just flows throughout the gun. And underneath, on the bottom, is a Cape Buffalo just staring you right in the eyes. It's absolutely beautiful and a little bit haunting. Look at this front sight. The hood literally flips out of the way. It's not a sliding or a non-removable one. Everything is thought of here. Look at how beautiful the marbling on the stock is. And on the opposite side, it has a shadow line cheek piece, which makes it beautiful for bringing up to your cheek. Of course, Wesley Richards in gold is scrolled across the side plates. And a brand new benchmark rifle like this does not come up for auction very often. It is ready for you to take it on its first adventure. And of course, you know the quality of Wesley Richards. Some of their great clientele ranged from the amazing FC Salou to Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway had multiple Wesley Richards doubles. But this gun can be yours. To have a gun built like this may take years, from the engraving to the woodwork to the barrel regulation to getting it in your hands. But you can get this one in our December premiere auction. Come to the Castle of Collecting in Bedford, Texas. Thursday, December 5th. Handle the storied Colts, Winchesters, and some of the most spectacular sporting guns ever assembled in a single room. Rock Island's December premiere auction will be talked about for years to come. Don't miss your chance to handle, shoulder, and bid. We'll see you there.